movement toward meeting doctors' malpractice insurance protests. House overwhelmingly approves the extension of the voting rights bill. Court matron shoots her mouth off and a mistrial is declared in the Callinger trial. This is Lester Smith reporting. Next news as it happens. Next scheduled news at 11 o'clock over WOR, Radio 710, the Talk of New York. And here is Gene Shepard. Up the tree of ego. Oh, how'd you like that? That was kind of nice, wasn't it? I dedicate that to all of you out there that are having skin trouble. You ready in there, Barney? Before we go any further, I need a little ego booster because it's the middle of the week, and there's a thing which psychologists now call the middle of the week sag. In other words, when you suspect that last weekend is now a mirage, you don't even remember having a weekend last weekend, do you? And the next weekend seems to be so far away that you're liable not to reach it. You know how life is? So would you please give me a little cheer? Cheer. That's it. Thank you. Thank you. Bring it up big, big. Oh, my God. Oh, it's wonderful. I just love. You know what that is, in case you wonder what that cheer is? I'll give you a chance here out there for all of you who are trivia experts. Can you identify where this cheer was made and who was doing the cheering? Now, before you say any more, you know, that's a whole new thing. You know, there's a new hobby that's growing. Several new hobbies have been growing recently. You remember the old hobbies? Stamp collecting. Remember those hobbies? Nobody collects stamps anymore because every country turns out 27 trillion stamps a year. So, you know, it's like trying to collect snowflakes. You know, there's no way. Do you remember when they used to have a hobby called coin collecting? Well, see, that doesn't work anymore. What with recession, you can't spend much time collecting coins. You spend most of your time getting rid of them, right? So coin collecting. You know, the other day I was in the A&P, you know, and the guy ahead of me tried to pay in a doubloon. He was all the way down to the bottom, you know. He was getting rid of it all. So the new hobbies really are technical in nature. So every kid in the world has got a tape recorder, you know, one of these little Sony types, and you know, little Philips tape recorder. So the tape recorder has become the chief repository of the new hobbies. For example, there's a hobby which is called rare and esoteric laugh track collecting. Yes, did you know that there are kids that copy, or I say kids only because it takes a certain imagination to do this, and most adults have long since given up imagination. You know, they work in places like insurance offices where you often get penalized for that. So when you're a kid, you can still afford to have an imagination, you know. So, but you'll learn, kid. Don't worry. The first time your imagination starts to become obvious in a sales meeting, and you get your head lopped right off somewhere down around your thorax. You know, when Mr. Bullitt says, "What was that? I don't think that's funny. What, you're trying to be funny, huh?" And you say, "No, sir, no, sir, no, sir, Mr. Bullitt. I was just clearing my throat." "Well, I thought I heard someone laugh when we presented Operation Over the Top here. This is going to be our new sales effort." And you learn very quickly, kid. So, nevertheless, the kids do have these new hobbies, see, and one of them is they sit around with tape recorders and they watch these really old, bad television shows that appear on the channels, you know, way down at the end of the dial, like the 429th rerunning of the I Love Lucy show, when Desi Arnaz was 19 years old, and Lucy, you know, Lucy looked a little bit like she was about 12, and the whole thing was shot in a set that had cardboard walls, and you could actually see the walls of the apartment billow in and out when the wind hit the cardboard. And so they had these terrible laugh tracks, see? So kids record just a laugh track, and they compare various laugh tracks. And in fact, they can. There are some laughers that have gotten a great underground fame, where kids, you know, will trade laugh tracks back and forth because there's a very famous laugher on it. He appears on the Ozzie Nelson show. He appears, you know, on the same track. Say, well, now here's a very rare laugh track, a very rare track of cheering and laughter, and we'll give you a brass figurine with bronze oak leaf palm if any of you can identify just where this came from. And, you know, you'll rise above. This award is given for rising above the muck and the mire of average listener and audience participation, right? You'll be, you know, very proud of the award if you get it. Very few people have received it, though. So listen carefully and see if you can identify. You may even hear yourself in this. That's a great crowd, isn't it? Yeah. Well, I'm not going to tell you where it came from. No, sir. No, sir. I have other fish to fry before we get to that. And speaking of fish, say, are you going out tonight? Well, the going's great. On Broadway, where a beautiful new musical called Shenandoah is getting bravos. You know, what actor, a famous actor, one time, speaking of fish, appeared on stage, a Broadway stage, and he was having trouble during the week when he was performing. Every night, there was this crowd that would come in, and they would start coughing. You know, the crowd that instantly coughs when they get into a Broadway house, you know, you know, that kind of thing. And, oh, wow, I tell you, whenever I do a play, I've done several Broadway and off-Broadway things here in town. Whenever you do this, about halfway through one of your most important scenes, you know, where you've got this girl there and the lights are dimming and the music is slowly beginning to swirl behind you, for some reason or other, 3/4 of the house all of a sudden starts to go, well, what did he do? But just at the moment when the coughing and the borking and the barking had reached its absolute peak, its apogee, he reached under his coat and hurled out into the audience a large fish. He was feeding the seals. Who was that? All right, let's get back to the commercial. Shenandoah is the smash hit musical. It's now at the Alvin Theater. Right. And where's the Alvin Theater? Well, it's at 52nd Street, west of Broadway. I one time spent a hellish afternoon on the stage of the Alvin doing a run-through dress rehearsal of a about-to-open Broadway show. That's what I know about the Alvin Theater. It has a cavernous stage. It's 52nd Street, west of Broadway. Join in the fun. 1, 2, 3, 4.
Time after time, day after day, You come out better at Hills.
This week at all Hills supermarkets, you can save on everything from facial tissues to turkeys. For instance, 10 to 14-pound U.S. grade A Swiss Butterball hen turkeys are just 59 cents a pound. Fresh, juicy peaches are only 39 cents a pound. Tropicana fresh orange juice is also on sale. 3 one-quart containers are just $1. Also on sale for $1 are 3 200-count boxes of Hills facial tissue. Check our weekly newspaper ads for money-saving coupons. And once again, you'll come out better at Hills.
Time after time, day after day, you come out better at Hills. You come out better at Hills. You come out better at Hills.
That was nice. This is really good, wasn't it? Wasn't that exciting, gang? You know, it certainly was. Everybody, all of you raise your hand now. Those of you who feel an urge to cough. Okay? I want you to cough twice now. This is just a routine physical, right? Okay. You're all right. Move on. Move on, buddy. Let's have the next one here, right? Which high-potency vitamin do physicians and pharmacists recommend most, huh? Theragran. Theragran M with minerals by Squibbly. Squibbly Ips Bips. Now, Squib. The name Squib on the label means that you have no doubt about the honor or the integrity of the maker. Yes, sir, old reliable Squib, he's called in the office. And right now, you can take advantage of a great special offer. You buy 100 Theragran at the regular price and get 30 extra tablets at no extra cost. You can go on a total vitamin binge, get all vitamined up, you know. Check your Squib vitamin headquarters at the drugstore, the department store, or wherever it is you buy your vitamins, from that guy in the corner that stands next to the newsstand. Ding, ding, ding. Oh, it's a mean one, but I won't deal with that. I was, you know, I don't know how quite to approach this, friends, fellow neighbors, fellow victims, fellow strugglers up the vast anthill and pyramid of time. Do you ever think of yourself as an ant struggling up the side of a vast pyramid of time? You do all the time? Well, you were right. You are an ant struggling. That's the first time you've been right this week. But it's terrible, isn't it? Hardly anybody asks you, though, anymore. There's very few questions asked. There are only statements made. And that's not the same. How recent has it been since you've been asked about anything in your life, whether you think it's the thing you want to do? I mean, you know? I mean, can't you imagine this great scene? Everybody's sitting around the table, you know, they're having dinner. The old man is sitting there and he's mad. He's had a rotten day, just like all the other rotten days at the office. And his wife is sitting there. She's had a rotten day at the PTA, you know. And the Little League, she got hit by a foul ball. And, you know, the whole thing, see. And the kid's sitting there. He had a rotten day at the Little League, too. He got hit twice in the mouth with ground balls. He went 0 for 23. And, well, that's the way the Little League games are. It's not at all unusual to score 40 to 70 runs in a game. So a kid having 23 times at bat is a kid that was pulled out of the game in the 5th inning. He's sitting there. And, you know, it's a typical little American family, you know. And you know how life goes on in the typical American family. It just sort of oozes along like a vast, unending river of Pepsi-Cola. And he's sitting there, you know, vast, unending river of Pepsi-Cola. That's not bad. That reminds me, this is WOR, New York. Yes, indeed. So it's a vast, unending river of you can fill in the blanks. Hit the button, please.
If you're looking for fun, come on in and fun.
Oh, it's a little Jennifer.
I'm gonna fly you like you've never been flown before. Fly me.
Yes, why Jennifer? And we don't have any copy here for poor Jennifer. No, it's not here. No. Got a lot of vitamin copy, but you fly Jennifer. And the reason you should fly Jennifer is they got a new special deal going down to Fort Lauderdale and Miami. And I'm ad-libbing it. And, it's not here. It really isn't. Oh, it's under Alamo. Oh, for heaven's sakes, under the chili parlor joint. Little Jennifer. Fly Jennifer's day coach excursion fare to Miami and save a big 25% off the regular round-trip fare. So now it's only $141 round-trip to Miami, even on a luxury 747. They got rid of all those old DC-3s, and they got a big one now. Fly Jennifer. Fly Nacional. That's actually pronounced national, but, you know, it's Miami, Cubanos, you know. So, did we do it? Okay, that's legal, huh? All right, that's fine. Yeah, we gave them a little more than they even deserve, right? Little Jennifer. She's so cute, though. Love the way she sits on my knee. Fly me. That's kind of nice. Well, I've often wondered. I'm not going to tell you, though, what I wondered about. Probably get me, you know, in trouble with everybody. But we all do this. But you like the little family scene, see, right? Little family scene. Here's Daddy sitting over there. And he's had his usual hellish day with Mr. Bullard. And his wife is, she's sullen, and which she spends a lot of her time being these days. And yes, because she has the dream that all ladies living out in suburbia have, that if she hadn't married Clifford, she could have, you know, gone on to become the editor of Cosmopolitan, or at least one of the more elegant reporters for Cosmopolitan, if not having been a first lady of the stage. Or she might have gone on to become a major general in the U.S. Army, who knows. But here she is, saddled with Clifford. And let's put it this way, it's both ways. And so here's Clifford sitting there, see, and he's looking at the sport page. And, you know, he's looked at the sport page so long now, he doesn't see it anymore. He doesn't see it anymore. He doesn't. He just looks at it out of ritual. And the kid is sitting there because he doesn't remember doing anything else except always sitting there. And somebody once in a while saying, "Eat, will you?" And so that's about the extent of the conversation at night. And all of a sudden, his wife looks up from her sullen muttering, and she looks up and she says, "Clifford?" And he says, "Yeah." She says, "Clifford, I'm going to ask you a question." "Yeah? All right." The answer is no. "No, I said, just wait a minute, Clifford. I just want to ask you a question." And he said, "Yeah, well, Clifford, is it really necessary that we go on with this?" "Go on with what?" "Yes, all of this. What do you say, Clifford, we split?" What was that? Split? You know I don't bowl anymore since I got my hernia. She says, No. I mean, let's just go out and get in the car and just turn the switch and drive out on Route 1 and the hell with it. And just keep going. You mean keep going? What do you mean, all the way to New Haven? No, I mean to Moose Jaw, Saskatchewan, and maybe beyond. And then what we can do is that you can stop off at Moose Jaw, and I'll take the car and continue. And then I'll never see you again. And you'll never see me again. And we can leave this little lout here, and he can play all the third base he wants. And the hell with it. Dead silence then for that moment. Please, a little of that majestic music. And for the first time, the family life of the Clifford J. Watanabes has come to life. A true question has been asked, and it hangs like a great, vast zeppelin over the dinner table there with its motors quietly idling. For the first time, it has been brought out in the open. The question that has been hovering in everybody's mind, why the hell are we going on with this? Clifford never thought that Sarah would be the one to say it. But Sarah said it. And little Clifford Jr., who has been toying with the idea for a hell of a long time of taking out his Yamaha and going on the road forever, heading to the Pacific Ocean and perhaps even going underwater all the way to Tahiti, hitchhiking all the way. It hangs there for one brief instant, that terrible silver dirigible of truth. And slowly the commander of the great truth machine pushes the throttle forward, and the dirigible sails out the kitchen window and heads towards Darien, Connecticut, to bedevil another poor family. Moment of dramatic truth has been sent to you as a public service by this totally concerned, involved media of communications. Why do they give that stuff all the time for me to do? How come John Gambling doesn't have this kind of stuff to do? He's always playing something new from the new Julie Andrews album, the eternally new Julie Andrews album. Da-da-da, da-da-da, da-da-da. You kind of like that, didn't you? Oh, that certainly set the old thing on edge, didn't it? Yes, sir. And while we're setting things on that edge, how about laying a goodie on you here? Hey, how many of you out there really dig chili, huh? Oh, no, come on, I'm not talking about her. Oh, yeah, I don't blame you there, buddy. She's fantastic, especially since she grew that mustache. But I would like to suggest, if you really like a good bowl of chili, it's a rare thing in this town, you know, getting a good bowl of chili. It is not easy to get in New York City. And I come from a town, from an area where chili parlors and chili, you know, is like the big dish locally. Did you know that in all throughout the Midwest, that particularly in the steel mill area, where thousands of Mexicans have come up and work in the mill and so on, chili is a major art form. It's like here in New York, everybody goes out for pizza, you know, or they go to an Italian restaurant. In places like, northern Indiana and Chicago, you go to a good Mexican restaurant. And chili is fantastic. I love chili, really good chili. You know what's the test of good chili? If after the second, first of all, chili should not taste hot. It should be hot. That's different. After the first or second spoonful of really good chili, the acid test is your nose should begin to sweat. That's true. It really is. and that's a real compliment. And I'd like to recommend a really fine chili parlor. In fact, it's one of the best chili houses I've seen in the entire East, and it is good. Believe me, it's the Alamo. You know about the Alamo? It's legendary. People go to the Alamo, you know, who go no place else in town. And the Alamo is right in the middle of the city. It's at 142 West 44th Street, right off of Times Square. And it is a great chili parlor. Fast service, by the way. Chili con carne. What does it mean? Come on, quick. You don't know what the word means even? What's the matter with you guys? How long has it been since you've had a good tamale? There's several types of tamale, you know, wrapped in the corn husk. Oh, cambala. Oh, caramba. Enchiladas, tacos, chili con carne, tamales. And, there's about 7 different types of chili. Chili with beans. Have you ever had chili mac? Chili mac is a chili that's served with macaroni. You take elbow macaroni, and the chili is poured over the macaroni, and it has shaved cheese on the top of it with ground onions over that. Oh, what a little, a little bottle of Carta Blanca with that. Man, you just don't want to leave. And this is a good chili place, one of the best, and I recommend it personally if you like good chili. It's the Alamo Chili House is the official name. It's 142 West 44th Street in New York, right off of Times Square. I repeat, 142 West 44th. One little word about the Alamo. The Alamo is one of those underground places. This is the first time they've really come above ground, where advertising men for years have gone when they're going with their friends on a no business deal. They go on lunch time. They go down and sit and have a good bowl of chili and a great big bottle of ice-cold Mexican beer. By the way, Mexican beer is superb if you've never had it. And I would recommend the Alamo Chili House. The best chili in town is their motto, and that's true. 142 West 44th Street in New York. And you can give them a call if you're going down there some night. It's at Circle 5, 4288 Chili. And pick up the phone and say, caramba, my nose is sweating. All right, hit the button, please.
For no side, get to your corn, so your corns won't get to you. Once you soak your feet in corn-o-side, your corns won't find no place to hide. 'Cause corn-o-side gets to your corn, so your corns won't get to you.
Now you can wash away corns and calluses with Cornocide. For thousands of sufferers, it has truly felt like a miracle worker. Cornocide medicated foot bath helps relieve pain in just minutes, so your feet feel refreshed and revived. And right after is a perfect time to use the amazing Cornocide eraser. It leaves your feet feeling smooth. Cornocide, available at all Alexanders.
Cornocide, get to your corn, so your corns won't get to you. Once you soak your feet in cornocide, your corns won't find no place to hide. So cornocide, get to your corn, so your corns won't get to you.
This summer, when you and your family are traveling, relax and refresh yourselves at a Marriott Hotel and take advantage of our summer family plan. One easy toll-free call will give you a special guaranteed rate at any Marriott from coast to coast with a beautiful guest room, 2 big double beds, and of course the kids stay free in the same room. And we make it fun for them with pools and game rooms at most every Marriott. They even get their own special menu. And for you, there's a candlelit dinner in one of our restaurants and sparkling entertainment in the lounge. This year, your vacation deserves a Marriott Hotel.
Once you found us, build your world around us. Make someone happy. Make just one someone happy. And you will be happy too.
And here's the toll-free number to call for reservations and information. 800-228-9290.
Okay, fine. Now you can relax. No commercials for a while, okay? Hey, I guess it's one of those nights. It's summertime. It's the middle of the week, and a couple of nights ago, I was out on the Jersey Turnpike, and to me, the Jersey Turnpike is a very symbolic turnpike. It is. Yes, it is. It has all kinds of let's say overlaying and underlying layers of meaning. See, some turnpikes just lay out there in the country, that's all. But the Jersey Turnpike connects heaven and hell. That's a very different kind of turnpike. It's like a 300-mile long purgatory. And there you are, suspended, see? And then you can't tell which side is heaven, which is hell. Now, if you're trying to split from Trenton, you want to get out of Trenton, just anything to get out of Trenton, and you're heading towards New York and the Village. Those spires of Manhattan reaching up into the gray, misty skies of night, they represent heaven. On the other hand, if you're trying to get the hell out of 6th Avenue just once, you say, I gotta get out of this place. It's driving me out of my bird. Nothing but sirens. There have been 17 guys mugged in my block alone in the last 12 minutes. If you get that feeling and you're heading out, as you go hurtling through the Harlem Tunnel, you have the illusion that you're heading for heaven. So, if you're going to view it theologically, if you're going to view it theologically, you come to the conclusion, ultimately, that heaven and hell are both curious, ghost-like images. I mean, one man's heaven is one man's hell. Oh, yeah. I mean, can you imagine if after taking, from the time you were 6 until the time you were 9, you took piano lessons, and you couldn't learn to play anything beyond the most rudimentary chopsticks, and you hated it? Can you imagine what would happen arriving in heaven? And you're expected to play a harp? Heaven becomes hell overnight. The harp is not an easy instrument, let me tell you that. And that damn heavenly chorus, singing eternally. My God, I can't stand Monteverdi as it is. On the other hand, if you spend all of your life, living in a place like Beaver Tail, Wisconsin, where even in mid-July the temperature drops to 40 below, and you bravely go out to the 40 below zero temperature because it's July 28th and you're pretending it's summer and you're wearing your Bermuda shorts because, damn it, you're going to wear them shorts. It's summertime. Well, the idea of arriving in hell could very well be arriving in heaven. where eternally they're shoveling in there, and they have a great climate. I mean, it's just fantastic. And the river Styx flows by molten lava, and you take a dip, and it feels great. Well, heaven and hell, it's a very complicated issue. And, of course, you have to go through the various tests. You understand that? When you're making the transition between heaven and hell, there are various obstacles. All of you know your classical legends about the obstacles that one must leap over to arrive at one point or the other, correct them all? Well, I'd say you hit probably your highest test in this purgatory, right around exit 14A. Possibly it extends to 15. And then it goes down to right about exit 12. That's in that beautiful area where the skies are never clean. That area where one never sees the sun or the moon, where nothing but great clouds of billowing smoke and burning garbage can be seen for miles on end all around you. And the beautiful the Jersey meadows fester, under those gray skies. You could hear the bubbles of the methane gas. And refinery after refinery marches like some solemn group of silver soldiers spewing flame at you. And you drive along there, so you're going through a scene, man. Now, I grew up in that scene. So I am talking to you as a native. And for those of you who think that you have lived in polluted areas, let me tell you, I want to tell you a little story. I don't think I've ever told this story on the air. And in fact, I know I haven't told this story on the air. It was a beautiful day. Well, let's put it this way. How beautiful do days ever get around exit 12? It was a day when one suspected that there was a sun. The sun was a rumor for many, many moons in this area. And in fact, even the moon was a rumor. We'd read about the moon in the newspapers once in a while. We read about the sun. Sun-baked natives bask on beach. We get a picture in the paper of people basking somewhere. But in the area where I lived, we invented pollution. If you wonder where it came from, well, you know how various areas of the world are known for their various, let's say, contributions to the general mankind. For example, the East is known for its gift of contemplation to all of us, correct? Right. France is known for its gift to all of us of the libido. Correctamo, eh? And England is known for its gift to all of us of the majestic plays of the great Renaissance playwrights. Such great things as I hearken to the eternal rattling of swords, oh Richard III. This is what they gave to us. Now, you don't often have any use for that, but it's kind of nice to know it's there, isn't it? And that's also true of the libido. Now, what is my native area, my native turf known for? My native turf gave to the rest of the world pollution, which has become a worldwide hobby. It created the whole career of Ralph Nader. So there are many people who have to thank what they've got going for them for what my country gave, my part of the world. Pollution rising out of the steel mills and the refineries. Well, one day in school, I'll tell you a little, if you want to hear what it really was like. So if you think you've lived in a polluted area, where I'm in a classroom one day, see, and all of us are sitting around, and it was a beautiful, just a nice warm day. The windows are all open in class. Those days when it's sort of drowsing along, and off in the distance you can hear the Glee Club singing, "Can you bake a cherry pie, darling Billy?" They're always singing that, and a dumb song, And so, one of those nice, quiet days, and off in the distance you can hear somebody pinging a tennis ball, and the breezes are coming in. Breezes. Let's put it this way: the sulfur dioxide was coming in, but it was a nice, warm sulfur dioxide on this day. Sulfur dioxide is a gas, isn't it? Right. We used to get an occasional shipment of sulfur monoxide, which was even different. But that it turns your eyeglasses blue, and just like that, instantly coats them forever. So it was a nice day, say, and Miss Robinette was up at the front of the class there, and the class, I remember symbolically enough, the class was deeply involved in one of those crazy, nutty, totally insane projects that English classes tend to get into. Like everybody had to pick a scene from a Shakespeare play, and you had to pick 2 or 3 partners, and you were supposed to go up and play it. You enact the scene, see. And I'm sitting back there. There was a guy named Chuck Atwood, and myself, and a guy named Stanley Roper. And we had decided to play this majestic scene out of Midsummer Night's Dream. And I was to play Bottom. You could see already my role was cast in light. You notice they didn't come to me and say, how about doing Hamlet for us? And I looked like Hamlet. I want to tell you, I had burning eyes and a fevered brow. And if there was anybody that ever had a tortured soul, it was me. But they kept coming up to me and saying, all right, you're going to play Bottom, and this other guy's going to play the Tinker. You remember that? And so we're going to play the scene, see, where they decide to do this play, these 3 guys, see. And every couple of minutes I was to go, you know, yeah, he has a head on him, a donkey's head, see. So we're sitting in the back there, and up in the front, there were always the kids that sit up in the front, you know, the kids that have fathers that belong to the country club and all that, you know, that type of kid. They were always doing such scenes, great scenes like out of Henry IV. See, that fell on deaf ears in the back of the class, where the only thing we ever got at the Shakespeare was one guy walked around and wore a donkey head. We thought that was kind of great. These other kids were always sitting around with cardboard armor. They saw themselves immediately as kings and dukes and stuff. We saw ourselves as tinkers and donkeys. So you didn't know we were going to get into this deep stuff, did you? So before we get into this great moment in American education, let's lay a couple of other goodies on you quickly.
If anybody says you can't beat inflation, tell them to go to Dodge. Waiting at the Dodge Boys now. $200 more in rebates on a new Dart, tradesman van, or light-duty carry van. When you buy or lease any new Dodge Dart from stock or a light-duty van, you'll get $200 cash back from Chrysler Corporation. The Dart gives you low purchase price, high resale value, and great gas mileage. The Tradesman Maxi van is the biggest in the business. All you do is make your best deal at the Dodge Boys on a new Dart or Dodge van. You'll get $200 cash back. But hurry, it's a limited time offer for retail customers only. 1 to a customer at participating Dodge dealers. So if anybody says you can't beat inflation,
just tell them you know where they should go. Tell them to go to Dodge.
This is Tommy Makem. I'm sitting in the John Barleycorn, located at 209 East 45th Street, just off 3rd Avenue. The John Barleycorn is New York's first and most famous Irish singing pub. If you want a sample of what Irish hospitality is really like, you should come in and soak up the atmosphere. The hospitality is warm, the people are cheerful, and the service is just fantastic. They have an old saying at the Barleycorn: there are no strangers here, only friends you haven't met. And you can prove that to yourself by dropping in anytime. You can have lunch, dinner, or supper 7 days a week, and have good time all the time. The food is fit for royalty, and as a matter of fact, some of the recipes have been handed down from the courts of Irish kings. The John Barleycorn, the Irish oasis in Midtown Manhattan.
Fly Aero Mexico, the airline of Mexico to Mexico soon.
Aero Mexico, Aero Mexico.
Aero Mexico, the airline that flies to 3 times as many destinations to Mexico and more tourists to and within Mexico than any other airline, is ready when you are. We fly from more international gateways to Mexico than any other airline and serve 3 continents to the world's most popular travel destination, Mexico.
Ay, 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 ay.
And we offer over 1,000 Aero Mexico quality-approved tours to Mexico, more than anyone else. So call your travel agent and fly with the airline of Mexico, Aero Mexico, soon.
Speaking of Mexico, did you ever have that liqueur that they make out of red peppers? Oh, caramba! Oh, talk about your nose sweating. I'll tell you, your soul sweats after a little of that. That's the only stuff I know that is guaranteed to make you into a bar fist fighter. Guaranteed. It says right on the bottle. If someone you know is planning to buy or rent new or used office equipment, like a used secretary or a used sales executive or, that kind of stuff, or buy a typewriter for a student, you should visit American Dictating Machine Company. Jim Marino has been running this firm since 1932, and he likes his name in the commercial. It will be worthwhile to see the fine values of ADM's biggest sale of new and used dictating machines in years. That's where they got Castro, Yes, sir, plug him in. Wears those fatigues. He barks it out. IBM Executaries for only $175 in A1 condition. A lot of great buys down at ADM, American Dictating Machine, 5th Avenue and 23rd Street for typewriters and office equipment. And we've done all the commercials. Now you can come back in from the John fast. The show is about to begin. Speaking of shows, don't forget, Princeton this Friday night at 8 o'clock. Now, the show actually starts at 8:15, but 8 o'clock is when you better be there. Because what we do, we're going to start squirting the audience with water roughly at 5 after 8. And you don't want to miss that, do you? We got these fire hoses. It's going to be fun, I'll tell you. Be sure to wear your rubber suit, right? But it's going to be Princeton this weekend, Friday. That's doing the weekend, and all civilized people begin their weekend roughly Wednesday. So it'll be there Friday night. I'll be there running around yelling and hollering, making everybody mad and wondering why the hell they came. So we'll be there. No, there will be tickets on sale at the door. We'll arrange to do that. So it's going to be Alexander Hall, Princeton University. It's a little benefit for WPRB. And you know what PRB stands for? I don't know. It's pretty obscene. I can't really tell you on the air, but for those of you who want to really know, they'll be handing out pamphlets at the door. You can join, get a lapel button and all that. So, nevertheless, 2 minutes. Oh, my God. Oh, wow. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. We're sitting there in the classroom, right? I'll never forget this scene. Every time I go through route on the Turnpike around exit 12, I think it is because you see all the refineries, and all around the school that I was going to, like a mountain range on the horizon, were these refineries. And you could sit in the class, see, and you look out, and you could see all these silver tanks, see, and they had these great big things called cracking plants. You know what a cracking plant is, where they distill all this stuff, and they distill all kinds of things like neat's foot oil and everything, see. And all around us, it was like the forest, see. And in the springtime, you could tell it was spring because all the smoke turned color. It was kind of nice. So we're sitting in there, and up at the front of the class, Jack Morton is doing his famous soliloquy from King Lear. You could tell what kind of a student he was. He picked King Lear to do. The madness, see? And he's sitting there wearing a burlap sack, which he figured looked like a king suit. And it had Reynolds wrap all over it, like badges and stuff. And he's sitting there on one of these folding stools, and he has a king's hat made out of Reynolds wrap, see? And he's intoning. Oh, the dogs of madness are howling outside the castle walls. And just at that point, tremendous explosion. And the entire classroom just sort of went up and settled down again. And we sat there for a minute. And Miss Robinette, she just looked around like, who the hell did this now in the class, see? And we could see outside, just outside the classroom, one of the cracking plants has blown its top right in the middle of the afternoon, just went boop, right up. And it was a gigantic yellow cloud, a mushroom cloud that looked exactly like pictures you've seen of atomic explosions. A mushroom cloud, bright sulfur yellow, was rising to the sky, up, up, up. And we're all sitting in the classroom looking at it, not realizing we're getting one of the great educational experiences of our life. This thing had blown up, see, and it's just rising up like it wasn't smoke. And then it slowly began to descend. And the entire 5 counties for miles around are slowly drenched in a rain that continued for over 4 hours. Have you ever been in a town where it rained kerosene? It was a kerosene rain. People's washes were hanging out. Guys' new cars were sitting out there covered with kerosene. Peel the paint right off, you know. And people walking down the street with their new suits, and the kerosene is drifting down hour after hour. Just kerosene slowly soaking the entire county. For over 3 months, it was illegal even to strike a match anywhere within 7 miles of the county line. It got so that we were having kerosene mayonnaise sandwiches every day for lunch. We were drinking kerosene-flavored milkshakes down at the Red Rooster. Kerosene soaked the ground for deep inside. Even the fishing worms smells like kerosene. So you think you've had it, buddy. WOR, New York. Stay tuned for In Conversation.